canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely, but thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
He steps to the mic with a boom ping ping, wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting, words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom ping ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom ping ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. A couple of things we're going to do today, but the primary goal is I want to provide some clarity on a particular subject matter that's big, it's vast, it's very complicated, and because it's so big, vast, and complicated, it's also heavily studied, it's heavily analyzed, but it is very much stereotyped And there's a lot of bias built into this particular subject matter, and the subject matter is poverty. What causes it? Why are people there? Why does it seem to be generational? And the information that I'm going to share with you, and I got to give a disclaimer. That's why I like my previous intro, because it gave a disclaimer. It essentially says that what I say is a reflection of my information that I assemble and present. It's not a reflection of anybody else's thoughts or sentiments, because what I'm going to tell you is likely going to be information you have heard for the first time, and you may be offended, but let me say it is not at all my intention to offend you. Sometimes information that is new, or if it goes counter to what we know or to what we have been told, it takes a while. You got to grapple with it. You got to deal with it. And the first thing you'll want to do is deny it. Whenever we hear something that just seems unbelievable, or it's 180-degree direction from what we have always known, the easiest thing to do is just simply deny it. Best example I can give of that is if, let's say you were just with somebody 2 days ago, you were hanging out with them, having lunch, having dinner, you were on the phone with them, you went roller skating with them, I don't know, you were standing on top of a police car with them just a couple of days ago, and then you find out that they were killed. First thing you say, nuh-uh, no, they weren't. Denial is always first when it comes to information that is just, it overwhelms us and then shocks our system. And I want to do a deeper dive and a multifaceted look at poverty. And I say that because you guys have some options coming up. And what motivated me to provide this next information I'm going to share with you is Bob called yesterday, and Bob wanted to know who I was going to vote for governor. I don't know yet. There's still plenty of time. If you ask me, the campaigns have not really started yet in earnest. We know bits and pieces about the different candidates. A couple of them are perennials. We see them all the time. One is the county executive. One is the former lieutenant governor. So we are familiar with these people. And a lot of them are from here. They're from, Joel Brennan is from here. Mandela's from here. David Crowley is from here. But do we know them as candidates? So I have this list. And the list is of the candidates that we know that are running for governor. This list, which came out, it should be updated today, but the version I have is good as of yesterday evening. These are the candidates who made the decision to run for governor. You can make the decision all you want to, but if you haven't filed the necessary paperwork, your statements of economic interest, or if you are currently an incumbent and you're not running for re-election, you've got to do a declaration of non-candidacy, and you need a certain number of nomination signatures. You guys know about nomination signatures. No one can get on a public ballot in the state of Wisconsin unless you get qualified electors to sign a petition to be on the ballot as governor for the state of Wisconsin. I believe the number is 3,000. The maximum you can turn in is 4,000. Those numbers could be a little skewed, but I have the list of candidates. So the signatures and the paperwork were due yesterday on June 1st. I'm going to tell you right now that not all of the candidates that you know that are running for governor have submitted their paperwork, or at least not prior to their ballot applications being approved. So I'm going to go through the list of candidates, and there's a lot more people running for governor than I ever had imagined, because we've just heard about, I'm going to call them the Super Seven. You know, the Super Seven Democrats. And, of course, Tom Tiffany, who is the Trump sycophant, who is the Republican candidate for governor. There's a whole bunch of other people. There's the Constitution Party and the Green Party and a whole bunch of other people running for governor that none of you are going to vote for, and you probably shouldn't, because there really is a such thing as a wasted vote. As some would say, Sherwin, there's no such thing as a wasted vote. Yes, it is. If you voted for me, that'd be a wasted vote. If you vote for yourself, wasted vote. But the reason why I want to dig into the poverty question is these candidates should be not just asked, but prepared to answer, and have a platform and have some ideas and have some policies, and maybe the creativity of new programs to how we can combat poverty. because it is probably worse than you think, because you can be above the federal poverty line and still can't afford the basic necessities of life. But in our discussions about poverty, in which I'm going to, of course, wrap in policies and politics and which of these candidates that have made it to the ballot. Now, I assure you, all of them have not made it on the ballot. Now, something may change. Information may get submitted late, or paperwork may be filed a little bit later, maybe in a case or two. I know with Sarah Rodriguez, who was the current lieutenant governor, she did not file her declaration of non-candidacy. Total rookie mistake. When Mandela Barnes ran for lieutenant governor in whatever the hell year that was, he was a member of the Wisconsin State Assembly. Because he, Mandela Barnes, did not file his declaration of non-candidacy for his state assembly race, what the election commission did is they extended the deadline, because if you're not running for re-election, you have to make that known so that other people have all the information they need to decide if they want to run in that open seat. But because I'm using Mandela as an example, because Sarah Rodriguez should have learned, and I don't think she would be a good governor anyway, but I'm just talking about a rookie mistake she's made. And if you want to know how well someone may perform in obviously the most difficult, complicated, nerve-wracking job they ever could have, leading the state of Wisconsin, almost 6 million people, racially split and divided. We're under the thumb of a federal government that's led by an authoritarian. Of course, the Republicans in the legislature were still following Donald Trump. Being governor of the state of Wisconsin is one of those things where you need a lot of attention to detail. And if you can't file your declaration of non-candidacy, because Sarah Rodriguez is not running again for lieutenant governor, she's running for governor, and she made a rookie mistake. I don't like rookie mistakes now. We are not in a place, ladies and gentlemen, where those who are running to represent us in the state of Wisconsin can afford to make rookie mistakes, because the other side is not making any rookie mistakes, and that is who we have to do battle against for the soul of the state of Wisconsin. So I got the list of candidates. David Crowley's application to be on the ballot is still pending. That bothers me. They have known since they announced that they were running for governor, even before that. Because you got to think about it. If you're going to run for governor, you got to talk to your family. You got to talk to your friends. You got to talk to your donors and the funders and the special interest groups, and you got to talk to the labor unions, and you got to talk to all the people. So even prior to somebody making that decision, you know when the signatures are due, and you know when all of the paperwork is due to get on the ballot. I will say this: Francesca Hong is approved. She's on the ballot. Kelda Roy, she's approved. She's on the ballot. Mandela, not yet on the ballot. Neither is David Crowley. Why are the black candidates always? Why? You can't be late to everything, blacks. We'll be late to our own funeral. That's a real thing, by the way. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, he was such a wonderful person. Well, where is he? Oh, the body hasn't gotten here yet. He's late. I'm going to take a break, come back, read you the candidates that are running for governor. Some names you've heard before, some names you have not. I think even the crazy dude, let me pull this piece of paper up. The crazy dude that has the Minocqua Brewing Company, that had the Secret Service come visit him because he threatened to kill Trump, and then he live streamed his interview with the Secret Service, which you would think would make good live streaming content. It was actually really embarrassing. If I'm not mistaken, I think that he has his ballot access, and Mandela Barnes does not. So I'm going to take a break, come back, give the list of candidates. Maybe at some point we'll get some of them on this show. Maybe not. But we do hope that they have a plan to attack, to combat, to reduce, or mitigate the negative impacts of poverty. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You don't need a name and bright lights. You're a rock star.
When my streaming bill hit 100
In some tin foil with a glass pipe. Is your guitar? Now, yes, it is. Little Angela.
There are 27 people running for governor of the state of Wisconsin. 27. When you get your ballot, now obviously all of them are not going to make it onto the ballot, but 10 or 15 of them might. This is insane. But it also shows that there is a tremendous amount of interest in this particular political position in a midterm election in which Donald Trump is serving a second term. Technically, they say something like this is good for the democracy because you have a lot of people running for office. The problem is, I don't know if the number of candidates is reflective of the ambitions of those 27 people, or is it a reflection of how motivated Wisconsin voters are? Because all of the polls that are coming out, the statewide polls anyway, show double-digit percentages of people that are not at all paying attention to the race for governor. I just want you to conceptualize this for a moment. If you have 25 or 30 or 40 or 50% of the eligible and or registered voters in the state of Wisconsin that are paying absolutely no attention whatsoever to the race for governor, and then we come to find out there are 27 candidates. Sometimes you have too many choices, and that can be very intimidating. I think that our voter turnout, please quote me on this, because interest is low for some reason in Wisconsin, and I blame the political party that has the momentum should be making the absolute most noise. They should be gathering attention. They should be having press conferences. If they are currently elected officials, they should be using that post and using that position to announce new ideas and new policies. David Crowley can call a press conference 3 days a week if he wants to. I think he should be doing that. I don't think that he should be afraid to call out Donald Trump for the monster that he is. Because remember, in a Democratic primary, you have to go much further to the left. I don't know how much further to the left David Crowley can go, because Francesca Hong has that sphere of the left very well occupied. In fact, that woman has a lane all her own, and she submitted her signatures and she has ballot access, so she ain't got nothing to worry about. It's these other candidates that have me a little bit concerned. In the years I've been working in politics, and it's been many, You know how many times that our community, African American black people, and I'm going to talk about African American black people today, as you would expect, but not from the traditional perspective that you may assume. There'll be a candidate that our whole community rallies behind. They're one of us. They see the world the way we do. They have an understanding of how opportunities for black people in this very segregated city can be diminished. And like they understand that. And they might have a great personality and they've got the temperament for it. And they're really, really smart. Just every so often we get a total and complete, like a superstar that we get behind. And then every so often that candidate, and we're looking forward to their candidacy, and we see a kind of unity that you don't often get. You know, divisions are a very real thing, but when a community rallies around a particular candidate, when there's one of those rare and unique moments, it really is a beautiful thing. I'm not sure if we've seen anything like it since Barack Obama. Barack Obama brought a lot of people together, but not at first. He was very polarizing at first, wasn't he? But after a while, you know, when he won in Iowa, because a lot of black folks were still on the sidelines. If you said that you were with Barack Obama in the beginning, you were a liar because most people weren't. His name was too weird. America's not going to elect a man whose middle name is Hussein. That's a bit of a stretch. While we were at war with a man named Hussein, he had only been a senator for, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. He was black. Well, he was black and he was white, but the black part is the most important part. A lot of black folks were like, yeah, we're not convinced. Or if Barack Obama rises too fast, they'll kill him because, history. We weren't sold on Barack Obama until white folks voted for him in Iowa. Then we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe there's a shot. But he was one of those very unifying candidates. Unfortunately, we believe that the nation was going to stay in that mode, in that frame of unification. It totally did not, because then we got Trump shortly after Barack Obama. So you'll have a candidate every so often from our area, an African-American candidate that speaks the language of the people. A lot of folks don't vote, they don't participate because the candidates don't speak directly to them. But every now and again, you'll get somebody, and then they don't file the paperwork and they don't get on the ballot. It's so disappointing. It is the first litmus test to determine if you would be a good legislator, if you can read and follow directions and submit paperwork. Because if you can't do that, and it's tedious and it's a headache, but that's why you hire somebody to take care of all of that stuff for you. Because it doesn't matter how good you are, how smart you are, how much you know the community, how much the community loves you. If you cannot pay attention to detail, you have no business representing, in the case of an assembly district, 60,000 people, a Senate district, 150,000 people, or in the case of being governor of the state of Wisconsin, 6 million people. Can't do the paperwork, you can't, because some of it is bureaucratic. I'd imagine a Wisconsin biennial budget is probably 1,000 pages or more. And here's the reality of that. The best legislators and the best executives read the entire thing. Some of you, no shade, have never read 1,000 pages of anything in your entire life, and some of you are older than I am. So I want to go through the list of candidates who have announced they submitted the initial declaration of candidacy to run for governor. I'm going to give you the names. Let me know if you recognize any of these. This is going to be both Democrats, Republicans, and independents. First is Ryan Stmad. S-T-M-A-D, Stmad. He's running as a Democrat. His staff review of his paperwork is pending. Then you have David King, the perennial black Republican that has been running for office. I am not kidding you. David King has run for every conceivable office in the city of Milwaukee. He's run for mayor. He's run for county executive. He's run for state legislative seats. Has never even come close to winning. Never. At some point, you got to get tired of being the bridesmaid and never the bride. But David King, who is a Republican, but he's trying to fool people. He's running for governor as an independent. Of course, you have Sarah Rodriguez. You have Zach Roper running as a Democrat. Sarah Rodriguez running as a Democrat. Alexander Valencia Kent running as an independent. Andy Mansky running as a Republican. Carlos Dixon running as an independent. He's a dude that's going around stealing yard signs and filming himself committing crimes, stealing other candidates' yard signs. He's running as an independent. Oliver Carranza is running. Get you ready? The Olive Party. What is that? Olive Party. Why are you making up parties? This is not the time to be playing around, but okay. I think Oliver made up a political party that is similar to his name. Oliver Carranza is running in the Olive Party, and his paperwork to get on the ballot is pending. Crystal Harper is running as an independent. Bill Berrien running as a Republican. Zachariah David Russell, no party. Corey Christopher Strike, no party. Brett Halsey running as a Democrat. Andy Mansky running as a Republican. Mandela Barnes running as a Democrat. Mandela Barnes has submitted 2,245 signatures. Maybe you just need 2,000 signatures to get on the ballot as governor. That's incredibly low, Mandela. I would expect better. He submitted 2,245 signatures, but his paperwork is pending. This is Mandela Barnes we're talking about to get on the ballot. Wayne Wiedemann running as an independent. His paperwork is pending. Dennis D. Williams running as a Republican for governor. Jamie Joe Carruthers running as an independent. Nikira McCann running as an independent. Joel Brennan running as a Democrat. He submitted 3,007 signatures. All of his paperwork is pending. Kirk Bangstad, that's the dude from the Minocqua Brewing Company that threatened to kill Trump. He has not submitted his signatures yet. He's running as a Democrat. Missy Hughes running as a Democrat, no relation. She submitted 2,498 valid signatures. Her paperwork is still pending to be on the ballot. Francesca Hong, running as a Democrat, submitted the maximum number of signatures. All of them were approved. She submitted 4,000 valid signatures. Francesca Hong will appear on the ballot. Tom Tiffany submitted valid 3,914 signatures. Tom Tiffany is on the ballot. David Carl Crowley. I didn't know David's middle name was Carl. Did you guys know that? I didn't know this. David Carl Crowley. He's running as a Democrat. His signatures are pending. Kelda Royce running as a Democrat. She submitted barely the minimum, 2,112 signatures, but her signatures were approved, and Kelda Royce has made it to the ballot. 27 people running for governor. And like 6 or 7 of them are independent. So when you get your ballot in August, it is going to be insanely complicated. Insanity. So there you go, guys. So to answer Bob's question yesterday, I have no answer. I don't know who I'm voting for governor because, well, maybe we should research this guy with the Olive Party. You never know. The Olive Party might have the solutions that we have been looking for. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to level set because there is the understanding, maybe it's a stereotype, maybe it's a generalization, that African Americans are poor. We live at, below, slightly above. We're always hovering around the poverty line. African Americans qualify for benefits. We are the welfare kings and queens. You know all the stereotypes. In fact, think of all the stereotypes that you can, all right? Oh, and I'm going to provide information about poverty in this country that I don't believe you have ever heard before because a lot of this information was news to me. But first, consider who the lazy people are. When an African American chooses not to work because if they work and even if they make a small wage, they may lose some of their benefits. I'm sure you guys are familiar with such people. Then the stereotype is pervasive, right? Sometimes African Americans won't get hired or we're going to be the first fired because there's a stereotype that we just love being at home. We love not going to work. We love just sitting on the couch and eating bonbons and watching the televisions and the YouTubes, you see. I'm going to do a deeper dive into poverty, and it might shed some light on a subject that I hope changes policy perspectives when it comes to combating what I think is a pandemic that is even worse than COVID, and that's poverty. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's the word, Milwaukee? It's your favorite producer, Meech. Don't just check in. Tap in with Jazz Tyler.
We are live and direct Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. And I am your host, Jazz Tyler. This platform is for the youth, the voices of the city. We are here to remind the world that your voice matters. Hit us up, tap in, and let us know what's on your mind because the time is now. Tap in.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
When Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Jasmine says Hong did a video post where she tripped and fell while talking. I was like, oh, hell. Another Jasmine says, right? I see Hong everywhere. Honestly, Hong is probably doing better winning the younger voters over because she is really making a connection with them, says Jasmine Good. And you know who I think she's really making an impact with? Former Trump voters that believe Donald Trump is going to improve the economy. I believe she's making inroads with rural folks who have really been hit hard by bad Trump policies, folks that have been stifled by Trump's one big, beautiful bill. You got to keep in mind, Wisconsin has got some democratic socialist tendencies. Now, many, many years ago, Milwaukee had many, many socialist governors. In fact, or mayors, rather. We were the last city in America to elect socialist mayors of the city of Milwaukee. A very long tradition of socialism. But in 2016, Bernie Sanders won the state of Wisconsin. Bernie Sanders is a democratic socialist. Hillary Clinton did not win. In fact, Hillary Clinton has never won the state of Wisconsin. Think about that for a second. Because then in 2000, so before that in 2008, Barack Obama won Wisconsin. So there are some left-leaning tendencies, at least amongst primary voters. But here's how I look at young voters. And people say, oh, wow, they're winning the young people. They're going to do well. No, they're not. There's no proof of that. How about this? Have you guys ever... Okay, I'm guilty as charged. I'm going to use myself as an example, even though this is somewhat embarrassing. I went to it was a fundraiser for like, I don't know, the arts or something, and it was lavish. It was at the Pfister. Drinks might have even been free. Hors d'oeuvres and all sorts, like heavy hors d'oeuvres. Like you could get full. And the whole point was to wine you and dine you, but to get you to open up your pocketbook and give to whatever this cause was. Now, I was invited by somebody. I didn't know what this cause was. I wasn't invested in it. I wasn't, on board with it. I didn't research it. Hey, Sherwin, you want to go to this thing? It's at 5:00. It's at the Pfister Hotel. They're going to have some food and some drink. That's all you got to say to me. And so I'm talking to people and I'm walking around. Everybody's dressed very nice. And I'm eating the heavy hors d'oeuvres. I love me a cocktail meatball. I don't know if I have ever met a meatball that I don't like. There's something about a ball of meat in some kind of a sauce. And then, of course, there's a program. There were speakers. And then, as any good fundraiser, we thank you so much for your generous donations. If you look on your table, you'll see a basket with some envelopes in it. And please, by all means, take an envelope. Take a couple extra envelopes and give them to your family and your friends. We appreciate your donations so much. And also, I got to think that the event that they were having, that got all the people in the Pfister Hotel with the heavy hors d'oeuvres and the drinks, probably was because of their previous fundraising efforts. I ate till I got full and I didn't give a penny. Young people will go to the events, they'll go to the rally, but they don't vote. Do not be fooled. They fool us every single time. 18 to 30s will show up in droves because something will be popular, something will resonate with them. But when it comes to actually voting, and here's the other part, this is where the Republicans, they screwed us good. I'm so sick of them screwing us because it's not like they're smart. You guys remember when our Democratic primaries, shouldn't say Democratic primaries, Wisconsin used to have primary elections in September. Somewhere around 2000, was it after I left the elections board? I left the election board in 2007. Well, they moved our primaries up to August. Not that big of a deal when you think about it, because the motivated voter doesn't care. They're going to vote. You know who is not here in August to vote in the primary? Students. You know who is here in September? Because our elections are the first Tuesday after the first Monday. So typically, our September primary elections would be after Labor Day. Sometimes the day after Labor Day, sometimes the week after Labor Day. Guess who is here? UW students. Hundreds of thousands of them. Guess what UW students get to do? They get to vote in elections because they technically have residency in the state of Wisconsin. When they moved our primaries up to August, the students are not here. So the young people that might be going to Francesca Hong's events all throughout the spring, maybe throughout the winter, some of them are going to go home and some of them live in other states. Do you see how that's a problem? The other part is this. Nobody's thinking about an election in August. That's the hottest part of the summer. You know what we're going to be doing in the city of Milwaukee, and I really hate to admit this because I don't like to have to admit this, but I need to admit this. We're going to be dodging a lot of bullets. Many people are going to get shot. The shootings and the firing of the weapons happens very much a lot. You ever want to get a small sense of how many guns we have in the city of Milwaukee? If you are in any neighborhood, north side or south, I'm not sure about the east side. And Milwaukee doesn't really have a west side. We kind of do, but not really. Stand outside on your front porch on New Year's Eve at 12 o'clock. You will understand intimately how many firearms we have in this city. So this is why I am concerned about this August primary and 27 candidates running for governor. So somebody also said in the YouTube chat, and I want to make sure I scroll up to see that if I can't find the actual comment, I can paraphrase it. They reference, here we go. 27 candidates for governor, but how many have the skills to do the job well? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You just have to connect with people. If you do not have, you know what? I would say you might have a better shot in these days and times in this world if you're not a politician, if you have no experience whatsoever. You're not an insider, you're not a career politician, because for some reason we hate people that have experience. If I'm sick and I got to go to the doctor, to the specialist doctor, because I got butt cheek cancer, very rare cancer, it's only found in certain parts of the world. I've got a rare form of butt cheek cancer, only one cheek. You guys have a favorite butt cheek? Do you favor one or like them equally? You have a favorite butt cheek, Xavier? Is there one?
My right butt cheek.
Okay, Xavier said he favors his right. I'm more of a split down the middle. See what I did there? Sorry. So let's say I have this rare form of butt cheek cancer. Oh, it's terrible. It affects my walk. Hurts when I sit down. And I go see a doctor, and the doctor says, well, I'm not a career doctor. I never wanted to dedicate my life to medicine. I don't really have a lot of experience, but boy, oh boy, can I think outside the box. I don't want that person operating on my butt cheek cancer because I don't want to have to get one of my butt cheeks amputated because you know how embarrassing that is? And then people would make fun of me. Oh, look at old one cheek coming. Look at old one cheek Sherwin. Mr. Half Cheek, Mr. Half Butt. Don't laugh, some of you, because some of y'all don't have butt cheek cancer and you still only have half a butt. Let's talk to. Hi, Alan. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. I'm listening to you, and I'm going to tell you right now, Hong is going to get they're going to anoint her, right? She's going to be anointed by the Democratic machine, and Tom Tiffany's your next governor. Out of all the people that we got, she's the only one who he's polling ahead of on almost every poll you look at. It's fantastic. Look at California, what's going on there. And then tell me again about the blue wave. By tonight, there's probably going to be a Republican mayor on the thing for mayor of Los Angeles. And then for the governor race, that's going to be interesting, too. He might be getting indicted. Newsom, you know what they did with the Palisades? They burned that all down to put up low-income housing, like they're doing by our home here. Some wild stuff, man. Wild.
So I don't believe that Gavin Newsom is going to get indicted, and whatever race that is for mayor in California, none of that is transferable here because Francesca.
What are you talking
hold on,
about?
Alan. Let me hold on, Alan. Stop talking. I'll hang up on you very quickly. Francesca Hong is the Democratic Socialist, meaning the Democratic Party structure here would rather not have her as the nominee because that is too much of a risk for the state Democratic Party. The party here in Wisconsin does not lean toward nor favor Democratic Socialists. I'll give you an example of when Bernie Sanders really should have got the nomination in 2016, but they gave it to Hillary Clinton because Democratic Socialists are too much. That is correct. Francesca Hong, she would suffer probably the same fate. They would find a way to fix the rules or change the system so that she doesn't get it. So no, I don't believe that they're not going to bend the system toward her. If anything, they're going to bend the system away from her.
Look who the system is now, Sherwin. It's not you. It's not
Alan,
Craig. It's not the Kennedy Democrat.
Alan, you are a Trump-supporting Republican. Your thoughts?
I'm not a Republican. I'm a Trump supporter. Okay. I'm not a Republican. Never have been.
That's
never
actually
have
worse.
been.
I'd have more respect for you if you said you were a Republican and Donald Trump just happens to be the president. But I think that
Donald Trump's my guy.
Man, we gotta go. So the thinking that Alan has about politics is not transferable to common sense Democratic policies. Republicans and they get inundated with Fox News and they watch Newsmax and they get indoctrinated and they think that they can predict accurately what is going to happen with the Democrats. The reason why Alan is so bad at political prognostication, because when I'm trying to talk to him, he just refuses to listen. So his predictions, along with every other Republican, it's faulty. Republicans make really, really bad decisions, but for some reason, because they're not the party of woke and they're not the party of the brown people, they win. Let me just throw another example of a horrible idea from the Republicans. Whose idea was it for them to put their field office or their state office on King Drive in North? You know how many times that office has been broken into and vandalized? And they're not even there anymore. They used to staff it, but they're so afraid for their lives because they have absolutely no business in Bronzeville. None. Zero business. Oh, there's nobody even there. The only time that building or that office is staffed, you guys know the Republicans have a damn headquarters on King Drive in North Avenue, right on the corner. Stupidest thing they ever could have done. What did you think y'all were going to accomplish with that? Dummies. They can't even get people to want to work there and volunteer there. We're talking about a 98% Democratic voting district, yet that's where the Republicans chose to put their office. Also, be on the lookout for this. Every legislative seat currently held by a Democrat that is up for re-election this year in 2026 in the black community, follow me now. So if there's a black Democrat running for re-election in 2026, a member of the state legislature, there's a black Republican running against them. And they do this every so often because here's what they think they're going to accomplish. By running a Republican against, say, State Senator Dora Drake or Assistant Minority Leader Kaylin Haywood, by running a black Republican, they think that they can pull some Republican votes away from that African-American Democrat, but also pull more votes for Tom Tiffany. So if you have a black Republican running against our Democrats, our legislative Democrats, they're going to get another couple of percentage points of votes for Tom Tiffany. If Tom Tiffany wins, it might be because of that strategy, but please do not be fooled. Because here's what I'm interested in. If you're running as a black Republican against a Democratic incumbent representing some part of Milwaukee, how do you justify it? How do you justify running as a Republican now in this midterm election while Donald Trump is president? What do you say? The ballroom is a good idea? What do you say? The war in Iran is fantastic? What do you say? The inflation is okay? That gas prices are not as high as you possibly think? Black people are harmed more by this Donald Trump economy than any other people. And the fact that there are black folks, and I'm standing on this because I'm not one of those people like, oh, black people need to be in every spot, in every sphere. No, we don't. We don't need to be members of the Klan just to say we got representation. That's where me and Dr. Ken used to disagree. He used to have this promo. For all I know, it's still running. He used to have this promo saying, we got to be in every room. No, we don't. Some rooms are gas chambers. I'm going to take a break, come back. We're talking about poverty today. You know what I'm saying? And which of these 27 can't? Hell, I might as well run for governor. I might as well.
You think so?
Yeah, write me in.
What's your platform?
I don't know. A radio show host who's not a career politician that knows a bunch of stuff that only is important to me.
Number one goal?
Survive the day.
Pretty good.
Make college more affordable. Make sure our budgets are doing right by people. Affordable housing.
No data centers?
We can talk about it. I'll sit down with the data center people. Like, hi, Governor Sherwin? Yeah. Who are you? I'm Mr. Data Center Man. I'm from Microsoft, Google, Meta. I'm from Twitter. All right. We'd like to put 75 data centers in Wisconsin. All right, what you got? We want to take a bunch of land from white farmers. Sold! Where do I sign? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's the word, Milwaukee? It's your favorite producer, Mech. Don't just check in. Tap in with Jazz Tyler.
Tap in. We are live and direct Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. And I am your host, Jazz Tyler. This platform is for the youth, the voices of the city. We are here to remind the world that your voice matters. Hit us up, tap in, and let us know what's on your mind because the time is now. Tap in.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
When Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
There are 8.4 million African Americans living in poverty. African Americans who are 13 to maybe 14% of the overall U.S. population are 23.4% of the poor. So we are 20% at least overrepresented in poverty compared to our overall population. These are not good numbers, and they stay relatively consistent. Now, the number can fluctuate plus or minus 6 or 7 percentage points depending upon the economy and depending upon which industries are looking for labor, also depending upon if labor is going up in cost. African Americans can be positively impacted by that. But this is very important to know that of the African American population in this country, 8.4 million are living in poverty. And so this article measures poverty line or below. And we all know that as prices go up for utilities and for gasoline and groceries, even if you are technically above the poverty line, you are still really impacted. So I would argue that this number is probably even higher, but for the purposes of our conversation about poverty today, this is the one that I want to focus on. 8.4 million people, 23.4% of the poor in the United States are African American. A little, comparison. The entire state of Wisconsin has about 5.8 million people. New York City, the metro area, probably has like 10 million people. So 8.4 million poor African Americans is a very, very sizable number, but I also want you to consider something. Now, I'm going to get to the other races and their raw number in poverty as well, and their percentages and a whole bunch of other details. What if you took away historical discrimination and structural racism? What if you took away, and there was never was any, housing discrimination, redlining, and racially restrictive covenants that prevented African Americans from buying houses, getting mortgages, and getting that equity which they could then pass down to their children? What if there was no wealth inequality and African Americans, once freed from bondage, got our 40 acres and we kept it? The value of that land now would be in the trillions of dollars. I'm going to keep going. You've got 8.4 million African Americans, but we have labor market discrimination and unfair hiring practices in America, don't we? You think that has something to do with poverty? If you're not going to get the job because they look at your resume, look at your application, they see an Afrocentric name, and they see the cross streets of your address, and they will make a bunch of assumptions. And ladies and gentlemen, that actually happens. Could you imagine for a second if the Milwaukee public school system had student achievement like a Whitefish Bay did or a Shorewood did? I would argue that our educational inequality can also lead to poverty. So when you think about 8.4 million African Americans living in poverty, 23.4% of the nation's poor are Black. It's also because of these factors, which are external to us, because these are factors that were put on us. This stuff is not our fault. Do you understand it? So what if you took away the residential segregation and the neighborhood impacts of it? What if you took away the higher cost for Black people when it comes to transportation? You ever been to, let's say, the Washington, D.C.s? You ever been to the Chicagos? You ever been to New York City? Hell, you ever been to Minneapolis? Look at the transportation options that they have. And the one specifically are trains, commuter rail or light rail, that move people all throughout the metro region, move people from the neighborhoods and the suburbs to downtown and to the business districts. You notice that we don't have that here? You notice that it was always a fight over trains, and we don't want trains here. We gave away our high-speed rail money, even though Talgo decided they were going to come here, and they moved into the old A.O. Smith building, but all of a sudden Skywalker canceled all the contracts, and then Talgo was like, screw you, we'll go to Chicago and build trains for them. You ever wonder why that is? White people never wanted trains because it would integrate the region. Therefore, transportation costs are higher for Black people because in the last 40 years, corporate jobs have been created in office parks in the suburbs where buses no longer run. I want you to hold that thought. I'm going to take a break, come back, and pick it up on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back in a couple of minutes.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify. Visit MilwaukeeHabitat.org to learn more.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
At UW-Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students K through 12th grade join in hands-on programs across campus. From science and tech to arts, sports, and more, students try new things, meet new people, and build skills that matter. Programs are led by UW-Milwaukee faculty, staff, and current students. And it's easy to register online. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. UW-Milwaukee. Roar Ready. Your child's future starts here.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Talking about poverty and also the number of candidates that are running for governor. You would think with 27 candidates that filed some kind of paperwork to let their intentions be known, they filed declarations of candidacy. That's the first piece of paperwork that you file. You say, hey, Election Commission, I'm thinking about running for the top executive position here in Wisconsin. The Election Commission is like, cool, you got to fill out some other paperworks. You got to fill out a statement of economic interest. You got to get a certain number of nomination signatures, and you got to turn those in, and those nomination signatures need to be approved. You got to do some other disclosures and declarations of non-candidacy if you're not running again for your current elected position. So we have 27 people that let it be known that they have some interest in running for governor. You have Democrats, you have Republicans, and you have somebody named Oliver running with the Olive Party. So really got my fingers crossed for that fella. And you would think that of the 27 candidates that are running for governor, maybe somebody has an innovative solution or a policy idea of how we can mitigate the impacts of poverty, because poverty is a bit of an oxymoron because it's exceptionally expensive. The more poor you have, the more money you have to spend, the more money you have to take from non-poor people to supplement the lives of the poor people. And that's just how our system goes. Okay? But I want to level set the idea and the notion that African Americans are disproportionately poor. And we are, because we are 13 to 14% of the country's population. But poor people that are at or below the poverty line, 23% of those folks identify as black. But there are also barriers and there is discrimination, because I'm going to be honest with you. We have a number of black-owned businesses of varying sizes. I'm going to use Milwaukee as an example because that's the example most familiar to me. Some just don't hire white people. They don't, and we don't expect them to. And we're perfectly okay with that. We're a black-owned business. It might be a family-owned black business. The mom and the uncle, the auntie, the cousins work there. Neighborhood kids might work there as their first job or their summer job. That makes a lot of sense, right? White companies can do the exact same thing. Say, yeah, we just don't want any black people here. Now, they can't explicitly say that, but they can say, oh, you don't have enough experience. Oh, we don't like these short stints at these other jobs on your resume. Oh, you don't have a car. You can't get to work on time, or you can't do little errands that are a part of your job. Aww. That has an impact on poverty. If your great-grandparents never owned land, your great-grandparents probably gained some kind of asset or some equity from that land that they could borrow against, and they could borrow against their land. So your parents didn't have to borrow money from the bank to buy their house. And then the house that your parents bought and the equity they got in that may have paid for your college or may have been a down payment on your home. You understand? And now you're a homeowner and now you have equity. All of that has been removed from the African American economic and financial trajectory. That has something to do with our poverty. Transportation costs and geographic job mismatches. Many jobs have moved to suburban and ex-urban areas, while some lower-income black populations remain concentrated in urban neighborhoods. That is exactly the point. Do you ever wonder why there was so much hoopla about the trolley? Nobody even cares. It's a 2.2-mile loop that kind of weaves in and out of the Upper East Side and the Jefferson Street area. It's not even that big of a deal. But do you remember how angry, especially conservatives and suburbanites, got about the trolley? And they made fun of Tom Barrett. Oh, Tom Barrett's trolley. You'd think they wouldn't even care. If you live in South Milwaukee, which I call the land that time forgot, or Cudahy, or St. Francis, or Oak Creek, or Greendale, or Greenfield, most of what you need is out there. You have restaurants out there. You got movie theaters out there. You have entertainment out there. Maybe every so often you might come to the Milwaukee. Maybe you go to Summerfest once a year. Maybe you go see a couple of Bucks games in the wintertime. But for the most part, you live in one of those other suburban enclaves. You don't really come to Milwaukee all that much because, you're scared you're going to get shot. Those were the people that were making the most noise about the train. You guys ever stop to think why that was? And I'm sure you guys can recall some of those really tough conversations when Tom Barrett and that particular common council was adamant on making sure that train was, that light rail was being built. You remember all the opposition to that, mostly coming from people that, if you don't live in Milwaukee, you don't pay property taxes here, you don't work in Milwaukee, you don't pay income taxes here, and you don't vote here, I don't care what you think about anything. I don't care what your favorite food is. I don't care what your favorite color is. We don't care. And I'm going to tell you why we don't care, because you may live in St. Francis or Oak Creek or Glendale. I don't care what y'all do. I don't care how you spend your money. You think I go to a Glendale Common Council meeting? What are you doing in Glendale with your money? I couldn't care less. But for some reason, but that's also white supremacy. They always want to know what's happening and what's going on in the majority minority city, because white folks, even when they choose to leave the city, still want to know how our decisions are going to impact them. But the reason why they were so against the train, and they called Tom Barrett the trolley conductor, because they knew that train might reach their community. It might bring us to their neighborhoods where the jobs are being created. That's why they were against it. Now, they couldn't say that. But it's also the same mentality that Donald Trump capitalized off of. You want to build a wall. You want to keep certain people out. You want to keep Mexicans out because they come into the country and then may devalue the price of labor, which is not true, because some of them will become citizens and they'll vote, and they're not going to vote for a Republican. But the same opposition to trains, to light rail, to high-speed rail, which has hampered Milwaukee's metro area from growing, is because of white racism, and there's absolutely no other reason. And some of those political debates back in the 1990s, when we got damn near $100 million from the Bush administration, the first Bush administration. You remember the first George Bush? Not going to do it, not going to raise your taxes. And raise taxes like 37 times. We got a $91 million allocation to build a light rail, commuter rail system in southeastern Wisconsin that might have connected Milwaukee through Waukesha County, Jefferson County to Dane County, south through Rock County, and then to the east from Kenosha up to Racine, where you could just hop on a train and get to any of those destinations in between. You wouldn't need a car. You wouldn't need car insurance. Hell, wouldn't even be no damn reckless driving. You wouldn't need bump outs. But the reason why we don't have that durable transportation project is because white people, when they move out of the city, they don't want anyone to have any kind of access. And then, of course, you get a car and you drive, then you get racially profiled. Hi, you know why I pulled you over? Yeah, where are you headed? Okay, you're headed to work? Okay, where do you work? Okay. There was an African-American man that called my show some years ago, and I'll never forget it. He worked at Patrick Cudahy, which is in Cudahy. Oh, Cudahy has got a long history of deep and bloody racism. Yes, they do. This brother called my show and said the same cop pulled him over every single morning. And the cop knew him. The cop knew that he didn't live in Cudahy, but he worked at Patrick Cudahy. The cop pulled him over every single morning, and he filed a complaint. Nothing happened. The cop pulled him over because they didn't like black people coming into Cudahy and working in Patrick Cudahy. Pulled him over every single morning just to make him late for work. Insane. Every day. And that's not an uncommon story. So when the opportunities and the jobs are being created in the suburbs, cut the bus routes. Scott Walker, in one of his budgets, said, we're spending too much of your taxpayer money on stuff. And usually when you have a politician or an elected official saying, we're going to cut taxes, people listen. Like, okay, we're going to cut the taxes. Good. We like when our taxes get cut. He cut bus routes. Because if you move to the suburbs, and chances are you're probably a much more conservative voter, because there are things and old traditions that you want to conserve, like, make America great again, that's a directional reference. That means you want things to be like they were back in the day, meaning you still are in favor of and support some kind of separation, some kind of segregation, which, let me be clear, Black people do too, but we want to have the same opportunities and the same amenities and the same high-performing schools and high-paying jobs in our neighborhood. We don't want to have to go out by y'all. We really don't. It's not a pleasure. No offense. Starting the summer of 2026 and until further notice, we are rescinding all cookout invites. Let's just see how it goes. Just for this, none of them. We got a little too excited when some of them showed some kind of racial sympathy and racial empathy, and we were handing out cookout invites a little too frequently. And where did that get us? They came to our cookout, listened to us, talked to us, found out how we think and how we feel, and took their asses right around and voted for Trump again. No more cookout invites. Or we're going to have a special panel. If you want to get invited to the cookout, then we're going to have a panel. You're going to submit your application, okay? It's going to be a waiting period. And then you're going to appear in front of this panel, and we are going to make a determination 72 hours later on whether you are invited to the cookout, because some of y'all been snitching. Some of y'all been coming to our cookouts and stealing our culture and stealing our ideas and then going and telling the damn Republicans. Let's talk to Marlon. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind?
So it's interesting that you're talking about how they don't want us in the suburbs. I don't know if you saw there is a fight right now for the Milwaukee Rescue Mission, who's trying to open up a place in New Berlin, and there's people in New Berlin don't want the rescue mission to open up, even though I work in Waukesha County, and there is a huge homeless population, and it would be very well received and used a lot, but they don't want it because they say it's going to bring all sorts of transient people and unduly people to their neighborhoods. And realistically, the place that they're looking for with the Milwaukee Rescue Mission is in an industrial park. I think the closest home, they said, is like a half mile from the actual place, but they don't want it there. So that just shows you it's one of those things where they don't want us or things that are going to hamper their community in their community.
All right, Marlon. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye. If you utilize the services of the Milwaukee Rescue Mission and they move it to New Berlin, you're not going to be able to get to New Berlin. I don't know why they just wouldn't open up a satellite rescue mission, because don't think that there aren't poor people in Waukesha County. Wait till I get to the poverty numbers of white folks. You will be able to use objective fact with no emotion whatsoever to determine who the lazy race is. I have 10 institutional and structural reasons that can increase the likelihood that a black person is going to be poor. Geographic segregation for where the job opportunities are, lower performing schools, lower investment in things that young people need to become successful and productive, housing covenants that prevented us from owning homes and gaining equity, et cetera. So I got 10 reasons. Institutional racism, structural racism, black folks, when they get hired, they're paid less. We also don't do a good job of negotiating our salaries, which is something we should talk about at some point. But we are the last hired. We are the first fired. Our wages are lower. We are much less likely to get promoted. All of these things incrementally can lead to higher poverty rates when it comes to African Americans. Some of that explains why we are 13 to 14% of the population, but 23% of the population of the poor. When you eliminate African American legislative districts, meaning we have less people in state houses that are voting for policies that can improve the African American condition. All of these things can lead to poverty. So there is a sizable explanation as to why black people are disproportionately poor. Just because white folks they don't want to hire us sometimes. They just don't want to. Yeah, I'd rather not. They might come in here and change the culture, or, those black women and their hair. We don't want any black people here. And I wish I could say, that's fine. If you don't want to hire any black people, you don't have to. but that can create more economic deprivation because a couple of weeks ago, I did a show on how many white people own businesses in this country, and the economic impact of white-owned businesses is trillions and trillions of dollars. And if you deny black people opportunities and access in any of these companies that are white-owned, that's tens of billions of dollars of income that we are not getting. Another example would be this. So, we had the whole thing with integrating the schools because you can't segregate the schools because, racism, Brown versus Board of Education. And so we had the Chapter 220 program here and some other less than innovative ideas of trying to integrate the schools. In fact, a little side note for you, in 1984, the U.S. Supreme Court had to re-intervene in Milwaukee, the West Milwaukee, West Dallas School District specifically, because 30 years after Brown versus Board of Education, schools in the Milwaukee area were still just as segregated as they were before Brown versus Board of Education. So there were very aggressive tactics to try and integrate the schools. Very, very aggressive to try and make sure that they even built Vincent. Because at the time Vincent was built, probably in the 70s, it was built to be an agricultural specialty because that area out there, like near 91st and Good Hope, that was all farmland. And so they were trying to attract people and kids from Waukesha County to come and go to Vincent High School. Vincent was not built to be a school for black high school students. It was built for white kids that wanted to study farming. Didn't exactly work out that way. Didn't quite work out as planned. But the lower quality of education that our students are getting is a contributing factor to poverty. We'll take a break, come back, give you the rest of the numbers so you can determine who really is the lazy race. There shouldn't be a single poor white person in this country because nobody is holding you back because of your race. What is your excuse? This country was stolen for you. Land was given to you. All you had to do if you were white is get a covered wagon and a horse and just go west. It was called Manifest Destiny. And really the Civil War was about, as we steal more land from the Native Americans and we have these new territories in these new states, are those going to be slave states or not? And the North was like, no, we want people to work in factories and work in industry. And the South was like, no, we'd like to expand our empire. More so because if Nebraska westward were all slave-holding states, I'm talking Oregon, Washington State, California, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, if those were all slave-owning states, right, then they would have representatives in Congress and increase the pro-slavery representatives in the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives. And so the Civil War was like, all right, enough of this slavery stuff. It's getting too out of hand. It wasn't even about the salvation of black people. Very rarely, when you have objective conversations about the Civil War, was it because slavery was wrong? Slavery had been wrong since inception. The founders knew slavery was wrong. Even Thomas Jefferson was like, I mean, it sucks, but, I own 700 people. Don't expect me to give that up. Like some of you have a very nice collection of watches. You can only wear one watch at a time, but you don't want to give up your watch collection. Not that I want to compare human beings to watches, but you know what I mean? Take a break, come back. Gonna explain, well, maybe you need to explain it to me. Why so many white people are poor. Go get a job! Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's the word, Milwaukee? It's your favorite producer, Meech. Don't just check in. Tap in with Jazz Tyler.
We are live and direct Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. And I am your host, Jazz Tyler. This platform is for the youth, the voices of the city. We are here to remind the world that your voice matters. Hit us up, tap in, and let us know what's on your mind because the time is now. Tap in.
The Brew Crew are back on June 2nd.
Fly ball center field. It's hit well. Grisham back. It is gone!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they play the San Francisco Giants.
got him swinging. Threw him a curveball. It's 11 Ks for Mizorowski.
Brewers baseball is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in June 2nd at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Presley. My love for animals began when I was 5 years old. That sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because your compassion can change a life. American Humane Society strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
Now that I'm retired, I'm worried about making ends meet. Food, medicine, and rent cost more every day. And that's why I used benefitscheckup.org. It connected me to an extra $1,000 a month. Benefitscheckup.org is a free service from the National Council on Aging. If you're on a fixed income, benefitscheckup.org might help you too. For free. Visit today.
You've been diagnosed with COPD, but breathing seems to be getting harder. Everyday activities, walking to the mailbox, going up the stairs, talking on the phone take more effort than they used to. You're short of breath more often. Flare-ups are happening more frequently. And slowly, life starts to feel smaller. Is this you? If your COPD symptoms are getting worse, there may be options that can help you breathe easier and get back to doing more of what matters to you. That could mean walking further, spending more time with family and friends, feeling more confident leaving the house, and getting back to the life you want to live. If your COPD is changing, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. Visit the COPD Foundation website at isthisyoucopd.org to learn the signs of severe and worsening COPD and the right questions to ask next. Take action today. Breathe better tomorrow.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I see all of your comments in the YouTube chat encouraging me to run for governor. Don't be ridiculous. No way. The governor does get a nice house, though. The governor's mansion is very nice. They have a cook. It's a person that makes your food for you. It's right on one of them lakes, Lake Monona or Lake Mendota. The backyard of the governor's mansion is the lake. It's very beautiful. But I don't want to work in Madison. Madison is like Brady Street without the black people on weekends that is more educated and 37% more arrogant. Like, I wouldn't want to work in Madison. Every time I go to Madison, it's like I get this ick feeling. I'm here. I get an ick also, like when I walk into Walmart, I'm just like, oh, this place is really anti-union. Ew, I feel gross being here. I just feel the exploitation of the black female worker. There's no way, because I wouldn't represent everybody. I would run for office saying, if you're of a certain demographic profile, I don't know you enough to represent you, and I'm not going to try. So, and that's not nice, because you're supposed to be all things to all people, which is insane. I want to tell you something that bothers me, because I'm going to get to the details of this. There's so many poor white people for no reason. It's just, the numbers are, wait till I get to how much it costs. Poor white people are the biggest economic drain on society. You may think, no, it's black people and black poverty and black crime. Every negative indicator and category of blackness that has a cost associated with it is pennies compared to what white poverty costs this nation. The majority of your tax dollars, because y'all are concerned about, oh, my money is going to welfare. Your money is going to white people and to white families and white single mamas and white farmers that are growing too much corn, and the government is buying their corn with our tax money and then turning the corn into ethanol and putting it in the gasoline and ruining your cars that you have to pay for the repairs and the maintenance on. It is literally insane. White people stole a country for their benefit, needed a bunch of labor so we could produce industry and be a global superpower, but then decided it didn't want all of the people to equally economically participate. And America shot itself in the foot. If you're going to steal this country from Native Americans and you want to create a global superpower, at some point, you're going to need the work ethic, you're going to need the labor, you're going to need the intelligence and the creativity of the people that you colonize. But America was like, nah, we'll just be poor instead. If you're going to steal something to make something great, you have to be a better manager of resources. That's the one thing about white folks. White people, please don't be mad at me. I'm being very objective here. It's like you'll have this company, and your company is competitive, not just amongst the companies that are in Wisconsin or in Illinois or Minnesota. You're competitive against companies in Texas and Florida and Canada and Mexico and globally, right? And you'll hire black people because they have a skill set and they have a resume and education. They can really add value to your company and maybe give you a competitive edge against some of these other companies you're competing against globally. But you marginalize your black employees. You don't give them the benefit of the doubt. They're not listened to in meetings. Like, what is the point of even hiring black folks? You have to be globally competitive. And I think white folks are starting to realize, and white businesses are starting to realize, there's only so far that they can go with a bunch of mediocre white people. At majority white companies, if somebody black gets hired, they are usually of incredible talent, of stellar talent, but they oftentimes can't showcase their stellar talent. Some of you can relate to what I'm saying. If you are black and you work for a majority white company and you're better and smarter, more motivated, have a better work ethic than all the other white people there, you got to keep it subdued, because if they know how good you are, they'll fire you because you're a threat. You got to play dumb. Oh, it's a dreadful, dreadful feeling. Because if you're too good, or if you bring up too many good ideas in a meeting, if, this person, you missed this, or there's another perspective that we can bring. If you're the black person bringing that stuff up in a board meeting, it's not going to be, wow, those were fantastic ideas, Leroy. We should give you a promotion. It's, Leroy, why were you late this morning? What time are you supposed to go to lunch, Leroy? Because they make you answer the question. Leroy, what time is your lunch? Oh, 12:30. Okay, and it's a 30-minute lunch break, correct? Uh-huh. Well, what time did you come back from lunch? 1:02. Yeah, Leroy, we can't have that anymore. We're going to escort you out the building, which leads us to our YouTube poll. When leaving a place of employment, do you A, give 2 weeks notice, or B, just quit? 81% of you give a 2 weeks notice? Do you know you live in a right to work state? They will walk you out of the building when you give your 2 weeks notice. And here's what's crazy. Here's how you screw yourself. Because if you have another job, you tell that other job, oh, no. I can start right away. You know what the 2 weeks notice is? They gonna notice when you ain't there. And they gonna be sad for 2 weeks. Now I'm supposed to say, well, it depends on the job you have. No, screw that. So here's what sometimes happens, right? You might come in on a Monday. So your last pay period is done. You just got paid. You're coming in that next Monday. You're going to work 2 weeks. You're going to give you 2 weeks notice. You're coming in on Monday. Follow me now. You just got paid. New pay period is starting. You come in on Monday. You got a new job already. And you told the new job, hey, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks in my old job. I'll be ready to start work with you, the new company, in 2 weeks. And most new companies will be like, oh, cool. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good luck, with your last 2 weeks at your old job. So then you go to work that Monday and you submit your little resignation, and you do it very nice. You're very professional. You're very cordial. Hi, I would like to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, but I have found another endeavor and I am officially putting in my 2 weeks notice. And then all of a sudden you notice somebody coming into your little cubicle into your little office, like, oh, hi, we got your email. And then the HR person is there, and maybe a security person is there, and you're like, oh, why so many people coming into my office and coming into my cubicle? I just submitted the email saying that I am putting in my 2 weeks notice, and they walk your ass out of that office. Now, here's how you screwed yourself. You're going to go maybe 3 weeks or a month without a paycheck. Because remember, you were going to put in your 2 weeks notice. You're going to work another 2 weeks so you had a check coming when you left. You start the new job, you might have to work there for 2 weeks. And sometimes when you get onboarded, you may not get a check for 3 weeks. Y'all know that pain. You ever been in that kind of paycheck limbo? It's like being in hell. Paycheck purgatory? Leave one job, or depending upon when you leave that job, it might be a half a check or a little piece of a check, or maybe you just quit and you have no more checks coming in, but then you start the new job and then you don't get a paycheck from the new job for 3 weeks. That makes somebody sell ass. I mean, just to, not every day selling it, but just until you get your paycheck. And I think if you want to sell ass, you should be able to do that. Your body, your choice. If you want to, Linda, I saw your little comment talking about me and my blue muscle shirt. Pay me. If you think I'm handsome, pay my ransom.
What's your ransom?
A lot. Sock it to my pocket.
A year's worth of mortgage payments?
Nah, it depends. I'll give a discount if she's pretty enough. But no. This ain't discounted. This is prime choice U.S. grade A. All right, take a break, come back. Criminal justice system impacts, health disparities, changes in equal opportunity policies, affirmative action, and DEI. All of these things can lead to African-American poverty. 23.4% of the poor in this country identify as black, even though black people are 13 to 14% of the population. We are overrepresented in the nation's poor by hell. Like 50%, give or take, 40% of our population. When I come back, I'm going to give you the details on exactly how expensive and how much worse white poverty is. Those are your welfare kings and queens. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Presley. My love for animals began when I was 5 years old. That sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because your compassion can change a life. American Humane Society strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
Summerfest brings the biggest names in live music to Milwaukee's lakefront across 3 unforgettable weekends, including performances from Ella May, Post Malone, Don Toliver, plus The Roots, Gene Dawson, Rev Run, Flo Rida, and more. Don't miss Summerfest, presented by American Family Insurance, June 18th through 20th, June 25th through 27th, and July 2nd through 4th. Get tickets now at summerfest.com.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, My mom applied for a Canine Companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia, who quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Steely Dan is your featured artist of the day. I'm very diverse in my musical taste. Historical discrimination and structural racism. This was the foundation upon which many later disparities were built. Examples include slavery and post-Civil War exclusion, Jim Crow laws, segregated schools, exclusion from many New Deal and labor protections, discriminatory federal, state, and local policies. The cumulative effects was to limit wealth accumulation of African Americans, educational opportunity, and business ownership across multiple generations of Black people, too. Housing discrimination, redlining, and restrictive covenants. For much of the 20th century, African Americans were frequently denied access to neighborhoods where home values appreciated more rapidly. Practices included redlining, racially restrictive housing covenants, mortgage discrimination, steering by real estate agents. Home ownership is the primary source of wealth for most American families. When families were prevented from purchasing appreciating assets, the impact compounded over generations. The result is a substantial wealth gap that still persists today. 3, wealth and inequality and limited intergenerational transfers. Income and wealth are different. Even when Black and white households have similar incomes, Black households typically possess significantly less accumulated wealth. Consequences include less inheritance, less financial cushioning during unemployment, less capital for business creation, less ability to finance education. Research consistently finds that wealth disparities help explain persistent economic inequality across generations. This is why Black people are disproportionately poor, and I'm not done. Labor market discrimination and unfair hiring practices. Numerous audits and studies have found evidence that applicants perceived as African American often receive fewer callbacks than similarly qualified or even less qualified white applicants. Research has documented hiring discrimination, occupational segregation, promotion disparities, wage disparities. While anti-discrimination laws have reduced some barriers, evidence suggests labor market discrimination continues to affect employment opportunities. Educational inequality. Schools serving predominantly Black communities often have fewer resources and face greater challenges. Factors include lower property tax bases, teacher shortages, older facilities, and higher concentrations of poverty. A little while ago, I was talking about the requirement to integrate the schools, right? So a lot of you may wax nostalgic when you went to MPS maybe in the 60s and the 70s, even into the 80s, and the Chapter 220 program was taking Black students from the city of Milwaukee and from MPS schools and shipping them out to the suburbs. Here's what you didn't know. So at the time, MPS would, let's say, receive like $3,500 per kid. It's way more than that now, but this is a generation ago. So the suburbs would receive $3,500 from MPS to integrate their schools, right? So New Berlin Eisenhower, New Berlin West, Brown Deer, Shorewood, et cetera. So they would receive the same $3,500 that they would receive from the state for the resident kids. But then they would receive an additional $3,500 for accepting a Black child. You had to bribe suburban schools to take Black children. And that's why so many of them were open to taking Chapter 220 kids. And what they did is they invested that money in advanced placement classes. So there would always be a cohort of white students that got the highest quality education possible, on the backs of accepting black children. Did you guys know that? They didn't accept black children, even though it was the Constitution that schools had to be integrated. It wasn't a law. It's the Constitution. It was a Supreme Court ruling, Brown versus Board of Education. You still had to bribe suburban schools to take black children. And then when the state of Wisconsin was like, fine, we'll give you double the allocation, they received more money. That sounds real slavery-ish, doesn't it? A little bit, a little. These blacks are worth double the money. Here's where they screwed us. Black teachers didn't get hired at those schools where black children were being bused to. Between 1970 and 1990, so your heavy years of school integration, $2 billion worth of teacher income was lost because, I'll just use an example. Let's say North Division at one point in time had 1,500 students. And maybe they had more than that. But because of forced integration and the Brown versus Board of Education decision, let's say that student body in North Division, there may have been 1,500 students. Let's say 500 students got shipped out to Germantown or to Oak Creek or to Cudahy High School or Brown Deer High School or to, we called it Nickelbag, but Nicolay High School, because all them kids were on drugs. Every kid at Nicolay was on cocaine, which we had a lot of respect for because cocaine was a very adult drug. So North Division, let's say, it was 1,500 kids because North Division was almost an exclusively black school. It was not integrated, and the surrounding schools, suburban schools, were not integrated either. Let's say North lost 500 students. You can't have the same number of teachers because you got 500 less students. And so those teachers, we can't move you to another school because we're losing student body population because of integration. Some of those teachers lost their jobs teaching and never were able to return to teaching. So that's $2 billion worth of teacher income that we lost. And also, if you live in a segregated neighborhood, and chances are you probably did, having a teacher on the same block or having a teacher next door in the duplex actually pays dividends for the children that live in the vicinity of that teacher, because sometimes those teachers would tutor the kids summertime, after school, at that teacher's house. So losing teacher income and losing black teachers was a double whammy. I'm giving you explanations as to why black poverty, quite honestly, considering the barriers, it should be higher. Number 6, residential segregation and neighborhood effects. Many African Americans remain concentrated in neighborhoods with higher poverty rates, lower performing schools, fewer employment opportunities, higher crime rates, reduced business investment. Economists refer to these as, quote, neighborhood effects, where location itself influences long-term economic outcomes. Location. Transportation costs and geographic job mismatch. Many jobs have moved to suburban or exurban areas, while some lower-income black populations remain concentrated in urban neighborhoods. This creates A, longer commutes, B, higher transportation expenses, C, reduced access to employment, and D, greater vulnerability to vehicle breakdowns and transit limitations. Transportation is now one of the largest household expenses for many low-income families. Number 8, criminal justice system impacts. African Americans are disproportionately represented in arrest and incarceration statistics. The economic consequences include A, reduced lifetime earnings, B, difficulty obtaining employment, C, housing restrictions, D, reduced family stability. You remember when the city of Milwaukee was giving away those city-owned homes for $1? And a bunch of y'all went down to City Hall to try and sign up to get those dollar houses? Because the city was like, look, we have all this inventory of houses that have been foreclosed on. We'll sell them for $1 because if you fix the houses, and some of the houses only need about $10,000, $15,000 worth of work. If you're getting the house for $1 and you only need to borrow $15,000 from the bank, your mortgage is $80 a month. But then what they do, you remember this? And we had a fit. Khalif Rainey was responsible for this. They said if you had a felony on your records, you couldn't buy a house for $1. When they changed that policy, you know what it was? It was a bunch of developers. And now developers own all the damn houses. I remember when that started. And they did it right under our noses. I remember doing a whole radio show, sending everybody who heard the sound of my voice, get down to City Hall, get that list, and get you one of those dollar houses. It was the craziest thing ever because a bunch of people went down there and they took a bunch of pictures and put them on social media. You got to do it holding up a $10 bill. I'm going to get me 10 houses. It didn't quite work that way. But the developers and these hedge funds were like, no. We don't want people to be homeowners. We, as these hedge funds, we want to buy the houses and we want to rip people off for rent. And so they lobbied the Common Council at the time. I will never forgive them for this. And said, if you have a felony on your records, you can't buy a house from the city. That was one of the most federally illegal policies we had ever seen. Now, obviously, quickly the city reversed course, but by that time, they all of a sudden didn't have any more inventory left. Some of y'all remember those radio shows that I did. I let that Common Council have it. Russell Stamper was the chair of the committee that oversaw the Dollar House program. We flooded City Hall. Russell had to cancel the meeting. And then people got mad at him. They started yelling at him. He had to walk out the side door. I'll never forget it. Number 9, health disparities. African Americans experience higher rates of numerous chronic health conditions. Economic impacts include lost work time, higher medical costs, reduced productivity, increased disability rates. Poor health and poverty often reinforce one another. And number 10, changes in equality, equal opportunity policies, and affirmative action in DEI. This factor is newer and more debated than others, but many scholars argue it could become increasingly important. Recent developments include the 2023 Supreme Court decision ending race-conscious admissions policies in many colleges, reduction or elimination of some diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in the government, higher education, and corporate settings. Supporters of affirmative action and DEI argue these policies helped A, expand access to elite universities, B, increase representation in professional occupations, and C, reduce barriers created by historical discrimination. Critics argue that such programs can create inefficiencies or unfair preferences, that race-neutral approaches should be used instead. Let me give you an example. We had many colleges and universities for many, many centuries in this country. We're not letting black people in. Sorry, you're black. We're not going to let you in. Then the laws changed. And so think about this. For 200 years, if you couldn't get into Harvard, and then Harvard says at some point in the 20th century, let's allow black people in because, for 2 full centuries, we did not allow black people in. I think that's fair. It's still unfair because if you ask me, you should allow black people in for the next 200 years. Harvard graduated its first class in 1642. I want you to put that in perspective. Harvard was graduating people before America was a country. That university is older than the country that it's in. So when my cousin graduated from Harvard in the year 2000, our whole family went out to Boston. I never partied so hard in my life. The frat houses, I learned a lot when I went out there. So they have huge frat parties. It's in Cambridge, Massachusetts, actually. And I remember I'm looking at these paintings of these white men, like from the 17th century. And the frat brother, he was really nice because he assumed that I was of decent stock because I must have known somebody at the fraternity. And my cousin went to school at Harvard. So he was really open about talking to me. He was like, yeah, this guy right here is my great-great-great-grandfather. This is my great-grandfather. My lineage in this particular fraternity goes back to like 1705. I'm thinking to myself, you probably own slaves, but you're not gonna own me, sir. Eyes free. Fascinating stuff. All white men, all the portraits on the wall were all members of whatever that fraternity was, going back to the 1700s. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's the word, Milwaukee? It's your favorite producer, Meech. Don't just check in. Tap in with Jazz Tyler.
Tap in. We are live and direct Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. And I am your host, Jazz Tyler. This platform is for the youth, the voices of the city. We are here to remind the world that your voice matters. Hit us up, tap in, and let us know what's on your mind because the time is now. Tap in.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
When Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The combined number of white, black, and Hispanic Americans living below the federal poverty line is approximately 33,300,000 Americans. This represents roughly 93% of all of the Americans living in poverty. White Americans account for the single largest absolute number of poor Americans. Period. White Americans constitute the largest number of poor Americans in absolute terms. Black and Hispanic Americans are more likely to experience poverty, but as far as the number of people, whites take the cake. Most poor Americans are, in fact, white. Several major studies have estimated that poverty costs the United States as much as $1.7 trillion every year through lower economic output and productivity, reduced educational attainment, increased healthcare expenditures, higher criminal justice costs, increased social service expenditures, lower tax revenue, higher mortality, and disability. There are 15 million poor white people in America. There are 8.4 million poor black. There are 10.3 poor Hispanics. Well. Look who has the monopoly on poverty. When you combine poor white and poor Hispanic, that is 26 million people. Poor white, poor Hispanic, okay? Poor black folks is 8 million. White people are 40.7% of the poor. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Sherwin, there's more white people, 100%. But the barriers that I read that impact African Americans, that have always impacted African Americans, from real estate practices and housing covenants to the ending of DEI and affirmative action to outright racial discrimination, our wages are lower, our transportation costs are higher. White people have almost none of those barriers. They have not had their skin color to blame for their poverty. There is literally no excuse. They were given a country. They were given land. They had manifest destiny. They could just steal. They could just steal wealth from people. Yet when we talk about poverty programs, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about white folks. Now, here's the thing. You live in a city like Milwaukee, maybe you live in some urban metro area, and the majority of the poor people that you see are black. You don't think about outstate. You know how much poverty there is in Wausau? You know how much poverty there is in Spooner and Rice Lake and Manitowish Waters? The whole, so you look at those red and blue county maps of Wisconsin. When we have an election, it'll show you the counties that vote blue, and it's usually Dane County will vote blue, Milwaukee County will vote blue. Then way up north, you might have Vilas County, or you might have a Douglas County that votes blue. The vast majority of the counties in the state of Wisconsin vote red. The red and blue maps are very skewed, just like the red and blue maps are very skewed when you look at presidential electoral maps of the entire country. The red means poor. Now, hold on now. I'm not saying there isn't poverty in the blue areas, but look at the sheer geography. That is where you get your 40% of the nation's poor being white. So when you talk about anti-poverty programs, you're talking about programs that were originally curated for white people, but black people just happen to qualify, because you can't say, hey, this anti-poverty program is only for white people. We would sue, and that's discriminatory. But you can say if your income is of a particular level, you can qualify for this program. The Hispanic poor cost the nation $344 billion a year. The white poor cost the nation $500 billion a year. I'm going to take a break, come back. I'll let you know what the African-American poor cost the country. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Presley. My love for animals began when I was 5 years old. That sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because your compassion can change a life. American Humane Society strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
Summerfest brings the biggest names in live music to Milwaukee's lakefront across 3 unforgettable weekends, including performances from Ella May, Post Malone, Don Toliver, plus The Roots, Gene Dawson, Rev Run, Flo Rida, and more. Don't miss Summerfest, presented by American Family Insurance, June 18th through 20th, June 25th through 27th, and July 2nd through 4th. Get tickets now at summerfest.com.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org. a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, my mom applied for a canine companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia. We quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
As I walk from different dreams, now they'll see evolution. Still I don't know what it means. Yeah, and it gets so hard for me to change. When there's an easy way to earn. What should I wear my fingers to the bone?
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. These numbers are staggering. Did you know that each poor white person in this country costs us about $34,000 a year in taxpayer benefits? That's crazy. Get a job. So other racial groups, including multiracial people, cost the nation $87 billion a year. Hispanic poor cost the nation $344 billion a year. White poor cost the nation $500 to $550 billion a year. Poor blacks, $280 million. Our poverty, which some of it is explained by it being racially induced, still costs the nation less money. The largest expenditures, like $1 trillion of our expenditures on poor people, are Hispanics and on white people. Approximately $33,400 spent per poor white person in America. That includes public assistance, healthcare expenditures, criminal justice costs, lost earnings, reduced tax contributions, lower educational attainment, and reduced labor force participation. What are we going to do about all these poor white people? You got to keep this in mind. If for whatever reason a white person is poor, some of it is just, I don't know, lack of work ethic, no opportunity, low level of education, whatever. Do you understand how that's a large number of people? That's a major voting block, okay? This is millions of people in America, okay? Do you think if you are poor and white, you're going to be happy about black people making it? You're going to want affirmative action eliminated immediately. You're not even going to think about like, oh, I want a program that can help me improve my situation. You're just not going to want black people to get anything. This is what keeps a lot of them voting for Republicans. But here's the weird catch-22. And it's a weird kind of irony. You'll have these white people, and they know that they're receiving public assistance because if you get them a couple of Bud Lights in, they'll tell you about how they grew up poor and grew up on welfare, and they were on welfare for a while. Yeah, you get them drunk enough, they'll disclose it to you. But you can tell a white person that black people are disproportionately benefiting from welfare, and a white person will be okay with a Republican cutting it out. All you have to do, I'm going to give you a little hack, a political hack. if you don't want poor people to get anything because, you hate poor people because some people just hate poor people, no matter what their race is, they just think that they're deficient. And if you need more political support for reducing welfare, tell white people that black people are disproportionately benefiting from welfare, and white people receiving welfare will be okay and will vote for policies that reduce welfare. You need to make that make sense to me. All you got to do is tell a poor white person, these blacks are getting a lot of benefits too. They are. Well, we can't have that. Well, then let's vote to eliminate it then. And I don't want to use the word dumb because that's offensive. You're not supposed to say people are dumb because that's not, you don't use that word. Dumb, maybe misinformed, or, maybe they were lied to and they weren't given all of the facts. So you can tell a white person that's poor, hey, blacks are disproportionately benefiting from welfare. And they'll be like, oh, we got to cut out the welfare then. But then they don't realize, they're like, oh, well, my benefits are going to remain intact, right? We're just going to be cutting out the benefits for the black people. They don't quite understand that you all are receiving and qualify for the same subsidies. Just like, and Trump took advantage of this. And it's almost like, how do you feel sorry for people? Because all the information about what I'm saying to you is available for everybody. People hate Obamacare, don't they? Conservatives, Republicans. Republicans have been trying to get rid of Obamacare for 15 years to no avail, but they've been trying to get rid of it. And you have a disproportionate number of these poor white people who are getting their health care through the exchange, through the Affordable Care Act. You know what these folks were actually saying? They were out at rallies and marches and at these pro-Trump marches. Get rid of Obamacare, but I'm wanting to keep my Affordable Care Act. These idiots didn't know it was the same thing. They were in favor of overturning Obamacare. And then in some states where you had Republican governors and those states didn't participate in the exchanges, these people were calling and Medicare and Medicaid. Well, how come my benefits got cut? Oh, because we didn't, as a state, we have a Republican governor and a Republican state legislature, and we're not participating in the Affordable Care Act exchange. And that person was like, well, wait a minute, no, I like my Affordable Care Act. Yes, sir or madam, that was Obamacare. Can you imagine getting your health insurance subsidized because your income is low through the Affordable Care Act and liking it, liking your doctor, liking the lower cost, your free prescription drugs, your low deductible, whatever benefits you have. And then at the same time saying, boy, that Obamacare is terrible, because they literally equated Obamacare to health insurance that black people got. And so when Republicans said, yeah, we're going to cut Obamacare, they had a willing audience to assist them and giving them political support for cutting Obamacare, not knowing that the Affordable Care Act is the exact same thing. Whose job is it to explain to those, when I use this literally, those poor people, that they are shooting themselves in their own foot? And so when we say white people are voting against their best interest, you don't really hear me saying that, because I think white people vote for politicians and people that uphold stereotypical racial norms, but at the same time, they are voting to eliminate subsidies, welfare, and government programs that poor white people benefit from disproportionately, but they think it's going to hurt black people worse. And theoretically, it does, because black people have higher percentages of poverty. So there's less available resources for us because of things like transportation. And even if we do apply for a job, there's still job discrimination. Maybe you won't get the job at all because of your name or because of your address. Because in Milwaukee, you can tell what address is in a black neighborhood. And so we still face those kind of institutional and structural barriers where white people do not. So even if you cut out all the anti-poverty programs, black people will suffer more, but white people will suffer greatest. About 14.6 million white Americans live below the poverty line. 8.4 million black Americans live below the poverty line. Therefore, white poverty likely imposes a larger total economic burden on America simply because there are substantially more poor whites. So I just want you to erase the stereotype about poverty from your mind, because Single mothers. You know the majority of single mothers are white ladies? You wouldn't think that, would you? Now, some were married and divorced, but single mama nonetheless. Don't matter if you was married, you a single mama. Out here raising killers.
I know a few.
The best evidence suggests that. Oh, this is a doozy. I got to take a sip of coffee for this. Y'all ain't ready for this. I'm not trying to anger anybody. This is what I said earlier in the program. I'm just trying to give you objective fact because the lies that we have been told have further harmed the image of African Americans. The overwhelming majority of people that live in poverty are white, and the economic burden on the rest of the country is staggering. This doesn't even include like corporate welfare because that doubles all these numbers. The best evidence suggests that poverty among poor white Americans costs the economy $550 billion a year, while poverty among poor black Americans costs $250 billion a year. Let me be clear, $250 billion a year is a lot. But what if we reinstituted affirmative action programs? What if we reinstituted DEI programs? Because I think there's a misconception that if you take away the affirmative action programs and the DEI programs, that white people are going to get jobs. No, they're not. They don't have the skills. Not qualified. Black poverty costs the nation $250 billion a year. White poverty costs $300 billion more. White poverty costs the nation double what black poverty does, yet we are the problem. And remember earlier I read those 10 different reasons why African Americans are much more likely to be disproportionately poor. And a lot of it is structural and institutional racism. So I'm going to challenge you to critically think about this. What if there was no structural or institutional racism and no racial bias? What if black people got promoted fairly? What if our wages were what market wages should be for those particular jobs? Our poverty would be even less. And we would cost the nation less money. It's poor white people that we have to worry about. And so this is where politics comes in, because the Democrats that need to win in rural, poor areas have to cater to these poor white folks. Trump has screwed them over and likely has made these numbers a lot worse. And so the Democrats have to try and walk a very, very fine line, because poor white people don't see themselves as equal to that of poor blacks. Both groups are economically deprived. But what the white poor are willing to withstand and how much pain they will endure to make sure that black people don't succeed is literally staggering. Let's talk to someone who knows a lot about poverty. Hi, Bob.
Yeah, I have. Hello, Sherwin. I have $1 trillion for Mexicans. What? Are you sure these numbers are right?
Bob, you confused just five different categories in one false statement. Poor white people cost the nation $550 billion. The number for Hispanics is $344 billion.
Okay. I just want to make this one point, sir. Just one point. And I need and want an apology.
Huh?
Now, who do I want an apology from? I don't know who it is, but the man that hollered at you. I need, and it vexes me.
Who hollered at me?
I don't know why. And your callers and your listeners, we want an apology.
From Alan?
It was a guy that hollered at you.
Bob, you're the one hollering at me.
No, there was a guy that hollered at you. And we want...
Bob, when? Was it today? Bob, what day of the week is it? You know what day today is? What day is today?
Oh, I know it's Tuesday. No, it was probably, last week, I think, but you got hollered at, and I don't, and they don't understand. The listeners and the callers are your URI VIP. Now, the only VIP I know to that guy that hollered at you is Greenbacks. That's the only VIP, but, it vexes me. I just need and want an apology, if you don't mind, sir. I would like.
Hell no.
It'll make me feel a little bit better.
Hell no.
I need the apology. I talk to you later, sir, but I need that.
Bob is arguing with my hot
and I want it.
Hell no.
From who?
Hell no.
It was a man that hollered at you. I don't know his name.
You're the only man hollering.
Watch your mouth. No. You holler at us in fun. It's an enjoyment. It's an enjoyment. It's fun. And it's in laughter. Not this. We heard. You don't understand. Your listeners and your callers want to make URI VIP. Now, the VIP, that VIP that is with him is the Greenbacks. So I need and want an apology. I just need and want it. It vexes me. Talk to you later, sir. Okay.
One law, one rule, one standard.
I'm going to faint. I can't. I got to take a commercial break.
For the Lord.
Nitty, you want to finish my show for? I can't. I don't think I can do this. Whoa. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Each year, Nielsen releases its Black Diverse Intelligence Report for a look at the latest trends for Black audiences. This year's report shows that Black viewers continue to dominate traditional TV viewership and remain a big driver of success for content across platforms. But advertisers might be missing out on this when their commercials don't reflect audience diversity.
From a business perspective, having unmet consumer demand spells opportunity.
That's Charlene Polite-Corley. She's VP of Inclusive Insights at Nielsen. We spoke about where Black viewers are engaging the most.
TV is still very much king. This audience averaged 5 hours more a week with live television engagement compared to the average U.S. viewer. And we're also the most likely to tune in live and engage social media, during that time. So it's not just tuning in to experience the content, it's also tuning in to drive the conversation around the content.
Polite-Corley also mentions live sports as a major contributor to Black viewership. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, My mom applied for a canine companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia. We quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It was 400 years or more since you came to crucify, and they were taken far away from home. There were promises of paradise, but if they had been told that they were been sold this way to satisfy the souls of chosen men. See, I had to look carefully.
I didn't think that exchange was very funny with Bob. Bob wanted an apology from a man that he didn't even know, that none of us remember. Because apparently somebody hollered at me, but Bob was the one that was hollering. But then I hollered at Bob. So clearly Bob and I owe each other apologies, which are never going to happen. So that's... Linda says she was screaming. Can I tell you what happened this morning? I feel kind of weird and it's bothering me. Usually things like this don't bother me, but this bothered me. So these pants that I'm wearing, they got a lazy zipper. For some reason, the zipper it falls down. I don't know why. I like these pants. They're like black denim. And no, Linda, I'm not going to stand up and show you because you and that clam been a little out of control lately, and I'm not trying to give you no motivation. So I got to check the zipper every now and again when I'm wearing these pants, just to make sure my nature's not out. You know what I mean? So as I'm walking to come downstairs to the studio, because I prepare for my show upstairs, I got to walk through like this little common area, and there's a bunch of people sitting around doing stuff and preparing for their respective radio shows. It's just a bunch of people milling about, you see. And as I'm walking toward the stairs to come downstairs, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I better check my zipper. And I have a very nonchalant, incognito way is while I'm walking to just kind of reach my hand down and to make sure that my zipper is not down. Well, as I'm walking toward the stairs, lo and behold, my zipper was in fact down. And there was a young woman, a young Caucasian woman who I'm walking toward because she's sitting in a seat that's adjacent to the stairs that I'm about to walk down. Let me explain something to you because this made me feel awkward. I need y'all to help me out to relax me and calm me down a little bit because I'm feeling some kind of way. It was a very uncomfortable exchange. So as I'm walking toward the stairs, I realized, oh, snap, my zipper is down. So this woman makes eye contact with me and says, hey, Sherwin, good morning. How are you? And I, of course, am holding her gaze as well. And because I look somebody in the eye when I say good morning to him. But as I am looking at her and she is looking at me, I am lifting my zipper up at the same time. I feel, and then she looked down and saw what I was doing, and then she turned away. I feel very uncomfortable. Like, should I apologize to her? Because she probably thought, I'm technically walking toward her with my zipper down. And as she and I are locking eyes and she's saying hello to me and I'm saying hello back at the same time, I'm reaching down to pull my zipper up. That just seems kind of creepy. And let me tell you why. Because Xavier, if you was walking toward me and we had locked eyes and you, good morning, Sherwin, as you're pulling your zipper up, I wouldn't like that.
Honestly,
there'd be something. That's too freaky for me. Even though it's Pride Month, I ain't got that kind of pride.
I think you're good to go. I think she was just embarrassed for you.
Because, sometimes with the white women, if you look at them wrong, they'll scream sexual harassment.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like, I was like, oh, snap. Because we were locked. Like, nobody was blinking. I'm walking toward her. I'm headed towards the stairs, and I'm reaching down, and my zipper is long. What has 196 teeth and holds back a monster? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I know you do.
Well, not your monster, but yes.
See there, that right there went a little.
Yeah, pause.
Yeah, thank you. Stepping right up to the edge there. It's Pride Month.
Yeah.
And shout out to the gays. Do your thing.
Aren't you happy?
Huh?
Aren't you happy?
And nothing changes for me.
Yeah.
I saw. I don't want to say this.
Yes.
I gotta phrase it in a way where it's not offensive. Let's say I was an elected official, because they make a big deal out of the gay month. Big deal. They raise flags. They have ceremonies. They have press conferences. All of that. I don't believe that we do as much for Black History Month, or a white elected official, a white politician. I don't think that they go to the same effort for Black History Month that they do for Pride Month. And so I'm watching the local news, and because yesterday was the first day of Pride, they showed a number of elected officials giving speeches and talking about how wonderful of a celebration this is. A little side note, please don't think I'm homophobic. First of all, I don't like the term homophobic because ain't nobody scared of nobody gay. Okay? Now, the phobia thing, because if you're scared of black people, you don't say blackophobic, do you? Niggophobic? Black negrophobia? You don't say that. But for some reason, when people bring their little kids to the Pride and they paint the kids' faces, like there's something about them. Like,
You don't like that?
Because I don't know if that's an appropriate way to begin the conversation with a young child about some people that like the same sex, which is fine because everybody in the human genome shouldn't reproduce, and that's why I think that homosexuality it's not a choice. I think that you're born that way. That's what I believe. If it's hereditary to some extent, because some people got like 8 gay people in one family.
I know you definitely can't be converted.
You can't. Yeah, either way, you can't. Like conversion therapy doesn't work, except for that one guy. You guys remember that clip that went viral? I don't know, about 10 years ago. I'm not gay no more. I love a women's. I love women. Start speaking in tongues.
He actually went to jail for fraud.
I no longer carry a purse. I no longer wear makeup. And then he's running up and down the church aisles. He went to jail for fraud, so maybe he is still gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he went to jail and he was like, oh, I'm home.
I mean, if you look at that mugshot, I don't think the conversion therapy worked.
Huh. So I'm watching County Executive David Crowley wearing his rainbow pin. Like, it's a great day to be Pride, whatever he said. I'm just thinking to myself, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Because it's just, I wouldn't feel comfortable like a white politician would feel uncomfortable saying, hey, everybody, it's Black History Month. Let's celebrate all the black people, and we love black people. We want them to have a fair world. A white politician wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. And when they don't feel comfortable, guess what? They don't do it. But a black politician got to get up there and put on a rainbow hat, rainbow socks, some rainbow shorts, ride in on a unicorn. I don't like that.
You don't remember Nancy Pelosi with the dashiki on?
Oh, God, don't remind me.
They're with the knee down. You don't remember all those dudes doing that?
That wasn't real, was it?
Yeah, that was real.
Al, you're on 101.7 The Truth.
All I'm gonna say is, don't overthink it. Now the white politicians, some of them might not indulge in it because they already doing stuff behind closed doors.
What's that mean?
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. What do you mean?
You know what I mean. You know, like some of these white politicians, they might, speak against it, but they know behind closed doors they have a fetish to indulge in it. Because what you see don't hurt you, and if he or she don't know, they don't have to worry about no secrets being revealed. So, but what I could never understand with the pride thing, how can gay people be against transgenders? And hopefully somebody can call in. How can y'all be against transgenders when y'all doing the same position? and y'all sucking on the same anatomy. Somebody's the top, somebody's the bottom, somebody's the power bottom, somebody's in kink, and somebody's getting breeded. And somebody is a throat toilet. So I don't see how you can speak against transgenders and y'all both doing the same positions and playing with the same anatomy. The only difference is no makeup and a breastplate. I just don't get it. You know, all I'm going to say is don't put too much, thought into that, because everybody has their secrets. And some of the people who talk against it, not you, but I'm just saying some of the people who talk against it, they already indulged in it. Have you ever noticed, Mr. Hughes?
Probably
every time
not.
people come out of have you ever noticed when people come out of prison, they either a diehard Christian, an Israelite, or a diehard Muslim?
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that? Do you think it's because they dropped the soap and somebody was standing there, or do you think they found new light when it went past the second ring?
The latter.
Huh?
The latter.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to share that information with you, and have yourself a good day. But just live life. Sometimes we put too much stuff on. If it's this or that or this is that. Everybody is doing something, and the number one person who usually turn gay is the man who become homeless, because he giving up that ass for 3 meals a day and a place to get a hot shower and somewhere to lay his head. Have yourself a good day, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Bye-bye.
I would like to thank Al for his Black Viagra tip last week.
Oh, did it work for you?
Yeah, it worked wonders this weekend.
The beets and the watermelon.
The beets, the ginger, the watermelon. It worked great. And then,
Boing, boing,
for,
boing.
then you eat the banana for the second round, you're good to go.
Yeah, because you need that potassium.
Yeah.
Bananas are high in potassium.
Thank you, Al.
Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkmylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs.
Wake up to Truth in the Morning, 7 to 9 a.m.
Again, I'm the legendary Home Blow, along with my girl,
Bailey Coleman.
True Nation, we want to hear from you. 833-212-1017.
Truth in the
I
Morning.
love you, baby. I just love the different talks, how y'all mix it up.
Truth in the Morning.
As a community, we have to take a deeper look at our family, at our friends, and ourselves, help other people heal, be kind to people, be concerned about people's well-being, and I love you all. You all have been rocking it out. Salute. God bless.
Wake up to Truth in the Morning, 7 to 9 a.m.
101.7 FM. The Truth. Homer and I will be the new morning show.
Truth in the Morning.
On the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Love y'all.
We'll be black.
So don't change your dial.
You're listening to 101.7 FM, The Truth of Milwaukee.
At UW Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students K through 12th grade join in hands-on programs across campus. From science and tech to arts, sports, and more, students try new things, meet new people, and build skills that matter. Programs are led by UW Milwaukee faculty, staff, and current students. And it's easy to register online. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. UW Milwaukee. Roar Ready. Your child's future starts here.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We haven't talked about Trump in a while. The State Department plans to drastically slash the number of U.S. embassies and consulates in Africa that can process visas for Africans seeking to come to the United States. The 50 embassies and consulates that are processing visa applications will be reduced to 20 or less in the coming weeks, according to 3 U.S. officials and an internal memo obtained by the Associated Press. There is not yet a set date for the change, but it is expected this month in June, according to officials who are not authorized to comment to the media and spoke on the condition of anonymity. The move is part of the Trump administration's effort to crack down on issuing both immigrant and non-immigrant visas as part of its broader aim to limit immigration to the United States and clamp down on those who travel on temporary visas, but then overstay them. So do you know right now, so if you live in an African country that currently has an embassy, they're going to close 30 of the 50. And so if you began the process of wanting to come to the United States legitimately and legally and getting your visa, maybe it's even a work visa or a visa so you can go to school here, you then have to reapply in a neighboring country if they are closing your U.S. embassy. And get this, so you get your visa. If you get your visa, there's more detail. They're basically limiting Africans from coming to America. You have to pay a deposit of $15,000 and it's non-refundable. So listen to me now, you got accepted to Harvard. Let's say you're from Nigeria, you got accepted to Harvard, okay? Scholarship. You have to apply for a visa, and in your application is a $15,000 deposit that's non-refundable. So if you apply for your visa in order to go to school or to work in the United States, and if you're from one of these 30 African nations, the Trump administration can and will deny you, and you don't get your $15,000 back. An application fee of $15,000 that's non-refundable. And so let's say you do get your visa. You would think that upon granting your visa, they would give your $15,000 deposit back. They do not. In order to get your $15,000 deposit back, which is essentially a down payment or some kind of a bribe to process your application to get into the United States, you don't get your $15,000 back until you leave the country and you're back in your home country. The move is part of the Trump administration's effort to crack down on issuing both immigrants and non-immigrant visas as part of its broader aim to limit immigration to the United States from African nations and clamp down on those who traveled on temporary visas but then overstay them. The Trump administration has also scaled back personnel at embassies and consulates around the world, so there are less people to process your visa applications. On a conference call last Friday, U.S. diplomats, including consular chiefs, were told the U.S. would be scaling back its visa services across the continents of Africa, according to one of the officials who was on the call. Under a directive approved by Secretary of State Marco Rubio last week, the State Department will reduce consular operations in all but 20 hubs on the entire continent of Africa, according to officials and the memo. Visa processing in Africa has already been affected by a travel ban on certain countries, as well as a requirement for applicants to post a $15,000 bond in order to apply. More recently, by restrictions caused by the Ebola outbreak. The Ebola outbreak means if you are from one of 50 African nations, first of all, they're going to cut the consulates from 50 to 20. But because of Ebola, now for your visa application, you got to pay $15,000 and it's non-refundable. And you've got black Republicans running in every legislative race in Milwaukee with Donald Trump being president. I need you to think about this for a second. Donald Trump is eliminating African immigrants or making it damn near impossible for people from the continent to come to America. And you have black people running as Republicans in Milwaukee, running against other black Democrats. And they're going to be promoting Donald Trump. Because how do you run as a Republican right now, especially a black Republican, and not praise Trump? How do you do? That's insane to me. The new rules mean that a citizen of a non-hub country will have to travel across the continent of Africa to one of the 20 Trump-approved sites, which could pose formidable travel challenges and costs, and pay a $15,000 bond for their visa application. He is literally making it impossible. He might as well just say, no Africans can come here. You're too African. You can't come because you're black. But if you're a white South African, consular sections in hub countries will stay open but be limited to the services that they can offer. They will be able to assist American citizens with passport renewals and emergency consular requests, as well as special national interest cases and diplomatic visa applications. The State Department did not address these specific issues in the memo and said it is constantly evaluating its overseas operation in order to deploy taxpayer resources in a way that advances America's priorities as efficiently and effectively as possible by, in a de facto way, ending immigration from Africa. Now, let me say this, because I know what some of y'all are thinking. But Sherwin, haven't you said some unflattering things about Africans from the continent? Yeah, but wait, though. They're not always nice to us. You know those Africans and Nigerians be mean to us. Sherwin, you do not know anything about your people. You do not know anything. You know the Nigerians, because they was colonized too. And you know a lot of them are Catholic. Did you guys know that? They're so arrogant. I mean, what? Am I going to risk getting canceled by the Nigerian contingent? Nah, I'm fine. They're not organized.
That's kind of racist.
It's not racist because they're black and so am I. But how you going to get colonized in your own country? Like, we were stolen, right? They come here. They grabbed us. That's different. The Nigerians were like, will you please leave? And the white folks were like, nah. But I bet you're going to speak English by the time we're done. According to the memo, how come no Africans came to get us? How come? No, I'm serious. How come they didn't send? Did they send boats?
They did.
Not enough.
Oh, it didn't work. Sometimes it did.
I don't know any history of Africans saying, let's go get our people and bring them back.
I can send you a few videos.
I know you can, but don't. You don't do that. So what I think probably happened was a bunch of Africans were like, you know what, that's not fair. They stole a bunch of our people. Let's go get them. Where are we headed? We're west? Okay, so where? Virginia's? Okay, let's get in the boat. Let's leave Accra, Ghana, and we're going to go sail across the Atlantic, and we're going to go get our people that the Europeans enslaved. And so it take a long time to get across the Atlantic. It took like 6 weeks if you got decent weather. And then they got to Jamestown, they got to Virginia. And then the slave owners in Virginia were like, well, what do we have here? A shipment coming on their own. And then the Africans were like, hey, we're here looking for the people that you stole. We came all the way from Ghana. If we want to bring our people back, you stole them. So give them back. We're here to get all the slaves that you stole. And then the slave masters in Virginia, oh, is that so? Tell you what, you put these clothes on. See that field over there? You better get to tending. No, we are here to bring back our people. But fine, I'll do a little bit of work, and then we're going to get on the boat and leave. According to the memo, 20 hubs remain open for all processing arm. Abidjan, Ivory Coast, Accra, Ghana, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Cape Town, South Africa, of course, Dakar, Senegal, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, Djibouti, Johannesburg, South Africa, Kampala, Uganda, Kigali, Rwanda, Kinshasa, Congo, Lagos, Nigeria, of course, Lome, Togo, Luanda, Angola, Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, Monrovia, Liberia, Nairobi, Kenya, Port Louis, Mauritius, Praia, Cape Verde, and Yaoundé, Cameroon. So if you're from any of those African countries, you can still apply for your U.S. visa, which is going to be a $15,000 application fee that's non-refundable. I just want you guys to know what that means. If you are from one of those African countries and you want to come to America, to work or to go to school, you got to pay $15,000 to apply. The Trump administration can still deny you, and we, the American taxpayers, keep your $15,000. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And Truth Nation, you can now watch my show live on YouTube every day from 9 a.m. until noon. Yep, you can get 3 full hours of watching Sherwin doing his thing streaming live on YouTube Monday through Friday. You'll get the same insightful conversations about policy, politics, and lifestyle while also seeing my reaction to the unpredictability of our listeners. So go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and see this wonderful smile live every day.
The Brew Crew are back on June 2nd.
Fly ball center field. It's hit well. Grisham back. It is gone!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they play the San Francisco Giants.
Got him swinging. Threw him a curveball. It's 11 Ks for Mizorowski.
Brewers baseball is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in June 2nd at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
At UW-Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students K through 12th grade join in hands-on programs across campus. From science and tech to arts, sports, and more, students try new things, meet new people, and build skills that matter. Programs are led by UW-Milwaukee faculty, staff, and current students. And it's easy to register online. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. UW Milwaukee, roar ready. Your child's future starts here.
At UW Credit Union, we have best-in-class technology and peopleology. Like if you lose your card, you can stop by in-branch for a same-day replacement, or you can have a new one instantly issued to the app. So whether you prefer interacting with our snappy online interface or our in-person regular faces, UW Credit Union is always here for every you. And whichever you choose, it's the best of both worlds. Join today at uwcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
So as I'm scrolling Spotify, because that's where I play my music from, I see a song called Sugar Honey Iced Tea. You guys remember we made that song on the fly, on the air, because it's the acronym that Al uses for Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Take the first letter of each word, and then you have that word. That's a word you can't say on the radio, so Al coined the phrase Sugar Honey Iced Tea. I'm looking at a song right here, and it's by Carrie L. And it's called Sugar Honey Iced Tea. I wonder if somebody stole my song. If somebody stole my song, I'm suing everybody. Xavier, don't look at me. I'll sue you too. I ain't gonna get nothing, but I'll try to sue you. I'll call David Gruber. One call. So we're gonna play this song right here. This is Sugar Honey Iced Tea by another artist. I don't like it. That song is stupid. I don't want to hear that. I'll still sue that lady. I'll take my song title. Linda says black people can't be racist, but prejudice and bias is the offspring of racism. What power do black people have economically? Well, no. We can't be racist. We can be. When I worked at WNOV for many years, there was one white lady that worked there. A couple of white folks. They didn't last long. A couple of white folks worked. This is way back in the day. A couple of white folks worked at NOV like they'd be salespeople, but it didn't work out so good. But there was one white lady who worked there for longer than all of the others, and guess what she did? She cleaned the toilets. She wasn't an on-air personality. She wasn't a producer. She was the toilet cleaning lady. So I think that if you have a black-owned business, now you may look at it differently, you may frame it differently, but if you have a black-owned business and you want to give economic opportunities to black people, like to me, that sounds fair. If you have a business, maybe it's a little shop in the neighborhood, and you want to hire people in the neighborhood and give them a skill set, or you want to train them, or you want to bring in young people to work at your black-owned business, and you don't want white kids from New Berlin, which is fine, right? But that's technically racist. Because you can't say to the white kid from New Berlin, sorry, you can't work here because you're a white kid from New Berlin. Though technically that is racist. But then if I turn the example around, if there's a white company, a white business, maybe it's a bakery. And it's a little small bakery, but they're hiring for a flour sifter or something. And maybe they're located in St. Francis or Oak Creek or West Dallas or West Milwaukee. And they want to hire somebody from the neighborhood, and maybe those neighborhoods are majority white. And they want to keep the culture of their particular business familiar to them. And let's say they don't want to hire any black people. Now, I'm supposed to get mad at that. I'm supposed to call that racist. But in the grand scheme of things, because I want black people to be employed, I want us to have economic opportunities. But if a majority white business doesn't want you working there, it's going to be a very uncomfortable environment for you. And if you work in an environment that is uncomfortable, then your performance may suffer and they're going to nitpick you. And so it's tough. But do I think that black people can be racist? We can, with rare examples. We have never taken whatever political power we can muster. Well, they built Jackson Hartfield Airport in Atlanta. Wasn't Maynard Jackson who was the mayor of Atlanta when they got, it was all black people that built the infrastructure of Atlanta. He was like, I'm going to make sure that only black people get these contracts. Black contractors built the airport in Atlanta, and whoever the mayor was in the 1970s was like, only black construction companies are going to build this airport. Even though there probably were white contractors that were qualified, the mayor was just like, go build something else, I suppose. I could kind of see somebody interpreting that as racism, kind of. If you are denying, if you have the ability, Maynard Jackson, that's right. Oh, he made black people rich. Black people, Atlanta became a mecca for black opportunity and black business because Maynard Jackson was like, all of this money, this tax money is going to go to black businesses, and it's smart because it builds the infrastructure of black businesses and allows them to grow and to expand and to hire more black people. There is a statistic that existed under the Obama administration. I haven't bothered to check to see if it's been updated, but at the time, and I think there was an explosion of African-American entrepreneurs because the Affordable Care Act made it so that people could leave some people are at their day jobs because of the insurance, but if you don't like the job, but you got to stay at the job because of the insurance, it makes it tough. You might want to be an entrepreneur, but you can't afford to get on COBRA, and COBRA is way expensive. So with the Affordable Care Act, a lot of folks were leaving their jobs that they were only staying at because of the health benefits, going to the exchange, getting health insurance, and starting their own businesses and becoming entrepreneurs. So at some point during the Obama administration, the number was 2.2. If every black-owned business in America, some much larger than others, could expand enough to hire just 2.2 black people. So every existing black-owned business, in which there are probably millions, or at least hundreds of thousands, if they could just expand to hire 2 more black people each, the black unemployment rate would be 0. And so to that extent, if we want to provide the maximum economic opportunity to African Americans, first, I think the investment needs to be with black-owned business. Now, I don't know what that number is today, but it's unfortunate you may have to deny someone who might be qualified for a job because you want to look out for your own people. And so in some cases, that might be considered racist. In other situations, it might be considered a form of racial protectionism. All right, guys. Thank you. Lunch break is up next.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, my mom applied